Welcome, my dear viewers. Thank you for being with my channel and watching my videos. I'm telling you a story from my life. Watch this video to the end. You will understand what I'm telling you, so as not to miss my new videos. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your explanations in the comments. Then let's go.
I'm Scarlett, 28 years old. Last night, for the first time in my life, I had a sleepless night. What should I do? It's not a dream, right? I never imagined I'd pinch my own cheek like in a cartoon show or TV drama, but I truly felt light and floaty, as if my body was hovering in the air. I want you to meet my parents, sounds like a line from a romance movie. I remember my boyfriend William's face, who had a serious look during our date yesterday. Wait, what does that mean? At the cafe, while I was nibbling on a cake, William, with a serious look on his face, suddenly asked me to meet his parents. I couldn't help but ask back, unable to gauge the meaning. He hesitated a bit, but eventually looked me straight in the eyes and clearly said, "I want to marry you." His words slowly sank in, and I couldn't be happier, but when I got home and into bed, I started to worry if it was all real. As I kept checking the ring he gave me, before I knew it, it was morning. Thank goodness today's a holiday. I realized that if I had gone to work, I wouldn't have been able to concentrate, the feeling so unreal. I spent the whole day in a daze. No way, I can't be daydreaming forever. He's earnestly asked to be happy together, so I have to pull myself together too. The next day, I put on my best suit and headed to a financial institution's consultation counter. That was the weekend. Awaiting me was the culmination of this fulfilling week, meeting his parents. I'm so nervous. On the way to his house, I kept reminding myself to take deep breaths. William, who came to pick me up at the station, laughed. "How many times are you going to do that? Instead of that, here, take my hand." He gently held my hand, which was cold from nervousness. "Don't worry. You're not going to be eaten alive. I'll protect you." But the Scarlett today looks different. It made my heart skip a beat. Maybe I'll be the one eating you up. Stop it, always joking. No, really, you're cute, not even joking. His words, not entirely false, finally eased my tension, and I felt braver with our hands still joined. With William being so kind, I'm sure his parents will be the same. Everything should be fine. At that time, I had a vague affection for the people who would become my future family. When we arrived at his house, we were greeted by his slender, elegant mother. She was a very elegant and beautiful lady. "Nice to meet you." "I'm Scarlett," I said, while calming my once again racing heart. "Though, what a lovely young lady. Come on in." Her smile was just as beautiful, and I was mesmerized. Such a beautiful and elegant mother. When I murmured that, William related in a loud voice. "Well, I'm flattered," she said, smiling even brighter, and I could feel my cheeks turning red. In the spacious and airy living room, I also saw his father. "I'm William's father. Welcome to our home. It's a small place, but make yourself comfortable." His father, calling the spacious living room small. Was that humility or a joke? He must have said that to ease my nervousness. William always cares for me in such subtle ways. I realized happily that his kindness must come from his father. Then, being here in his family home, I started to truly feel that the people in front of me would become my future father-in-law and mother-in-law. His house was more impressive than I imagined. Looking around the living room, even I, who know little about interior design, could tell that the furnishings were of high quality. Since my childhood home was a regular house out in the country, seeing this home furnished uniformly with antique furniture felt like something out of a fairy tale. Then his mother brought in some tea. The tea, with its wonderful aroma, and the elaborate teacups, matched the room's ambience perfectly, making me sigh in admiration. "Scarlett brought these cakes as a gift," said William's mother, pointing to the roll cakes on the plate. "Oh, those are homemade by Scarlett," William added. "Really? So, you were considerate. Thank you," they said, smiling. I hurriedly said, "Oh, it's nothing. I'm embarrassed they don't match up to your lovely plates." "Oh, it's fine. They're simple, common cakes, just like I imagined you'd make." "Huh." I was momentarily puzzled and looked at his parents. Common cakes, like they imagined. But his mother just laughed and his father nodded agreeably. Did I miss something? While I was thinking about this, William hurriedly said, "Mom, that's rude to Scarlett. Saying they are common isn't a compliment." He then apologized, saying, "Sorry, Scarlett, my mom sometimes chooses odd words." His mother then said, "Oh dear, did I do it again? I'm sorry." I quickly shook my head. "No. It's fine. It's true that the roll cakes are common and simple." I felt a momentary discomfort at his mother's words, but I didn't want to leave a bad impression on my future in-laws, and I didn't want to pick on what William called his mother's occasional odd choice of words. At that time, I thought, maybe she's a bit absent-minded. That's kind of cute. Fortunately, the conversation shifted, and we spent a pleasant time together. But then, "Hey Scarlett, how long are you planning to stay today?" asked his mother with a smile. Realizing the time, I checked my watch. I had been there for almost 2 hours. "Oh, sorry, I should be going soon." I was fretting that I had overstayed my welcome, just having come to say hello. But he gently stopped me. "Mom, you should ask if she can stay longer. Didn't you say the other day when I mentioned bringing Scarlett over, that we should have a meal together? The way you said it now, it sounds like you're asking her to leave." He had stepped in, just like earlier, worrying that I would be upset. "Scarlett, I asked you to keep today free, right? You have time, don't you?" he asked kindly, and I hesitated for a moment, despite feeling reassured by his dependability. Well, but I don't want to impose too long. Still worried about not being liked by his parents, and thinking what if they really didn't welcome me, I became a bit anxious. Maybe I should leave for today. Although William tried to keep me there, I felt uncomfortable and decided to leave. "Wait, let me take you. I'll get the car ready, just sit here for a bit," said William, and he left the room. "Hey Scarlett, you've had your fun, right?" his mother said with a smile. "Excuse me." Not understanding, I was puzzled. "You don't get it. It's time to end this engagement act. You and William just don't match. You should break up with him." Break up. "I just really like William," I stammered, taken aback by her words. "Your opinion doesn't matter," she said, smiling more forcefully. "Wait, please. Stop that. I have no intention of becoming relatives with you. It's impossible. Now, could you please leave? I can't stand being in the same room as you. It's making me feel dirty." At that moment, his father gently interjected. "Well, you shouldn't speak so bluntly. It's not becoming." "Well then." William's mother uttered a dissatisfied voice for a moment, but his father didn't reprimand her. Nevertheless, a young lady who can't understand something unless it's been told outright is something else. Were you raised in the woods? Your brain's overgrown with vegetation. Well, anyway, you don't seem very bright. Their expressions were calm, but the words coming out of their mouths were definitely insulting. "What do you mean by that?" I braced myself, and William's father said, "Our house is small, but as you can see, for someone like you, it must seem unattainable." I thought a bit of wit would make that clear. "Me, someone like me. Isn't it true? I don't know if your family owns farmland or something, but you're probably just barely keeping it afloat, eaten up by management costs, struggling to maintain the and without foreseeing a decline, just putting up a front. Since we met by a stroke of fate, I'll give you some advice. You'd better get rid of that land and lighten your load. Well, we probably won't meet again, so whether you listen or not is up to you," he said, laughing as if doing me a favor. "Wait, please. What are you talking about?" I tried to make sense of the situation with my confused mind, but they didn't wait for me. "Don't you get it? You, acting above your station by coming into our home, are out of your mind. Since you don't seem to understand, let me tell you. You come from a single-parent household, a farming family, right? That's way below our William's league, a failure, so to speak," William's mother said, and his father nodded seriously. Facing such harsh insults, I was in disbelief. As I was shaking and unsure of what to say, more unbelievable words fell like a final blow. Single-parent households can't be trusted. Sooner or later, you'll show your true colors, asking for money because you're in trouble. They insinuated I was after their money. Realizing this, I was horrified. William's parents still wore smiles on their faces. They were people who could spit out insults with a smile, a horrifying act. Moreover, raised by a single mother, sending your daughter to college might sound like a touching story, but I wonder if it's really the mother's effort. It makes one suspect she received assistance from various men, he suggested indecently. Well, we don't know the specifics of other families, but we don't want someone shameless and promiscuous as part of our family. Our family has been bankers since my great-grandfather's time. We have a reputation to uphold. Overwhelmed, I couldn't hold back anymore. You don't even know her. You can't just defame my mother, who you've never met, based on your assumptions. So are you getting upset because it's true? Anyway, banking is all about trust. A poor farmer's daughter doesn't fit in our family. That's right. Just give up and go back to your farmland. You probably saw our family as a golden ticket, hoping for a marriage into a family with an income over $100,000 a year. But life isn't that easy. They mocked me, their tone gently yet cruelly wounding me. Indeed, I grew up in a single-parent household. My father passed away when I was young, and my mother raised me alone while managing our farm. But I've always been proud of my family, never ashamed. I had no reason to be criticized by people I had just met a few hours ago, who barely knew us. Yet, as if to mock me further, they threw the homemade cake I brought into the trash right before my eyes. Scarlett, what happened? Dad, Mom, what's all this about? William returned, shocked, and I realized then that I was crying. Just days ago, I was overflowing with tears of joy, imagining a faint dream with my future family. Now, I was crying tears of frustration and sadness. I'm sorry, William. I'll go home alone. I managed to say that and stood up, but William, even more surprised, said, Wait, Scarlett, sit down. Won't you tell me what happened? As he placed his hand on my shoulder, trying to comfort me. However, it was William's mother who raised her voice to stop him. Just let her be. She has finally understood her place. And maybe it's time to say it properly. William, if you're going to date someone, please choose a young lady who matches our family's status. Your mother is right. We can't have someone sly, a poor girl aiming for our wealth. There's even a marriage proposal with a young lady from one of our business partners. For your future, you should settle down with someone more suitable. What? William was shocked by his parents' words, which was the only solace for me. But I no longer wanted to be in such an atmosphere. As you heard, your parents are against our marriage. I like you, but after hearing the unbelievable insults towards my mother, I can't consider your parents as family. It was too painful to say goodbye to the person I loved, so I couldn't clearly say let's break up. But at that moment, I was overwhelmed by my dislike for his parents, who had completely disregarded my mother and me. Thank you for your hospitality. As you wish, I'll return to the countryside. I'll also cancel the $3 million loan that was being processed at your bank. I'll make sure to state the reason clearly, so I hope you'll understand. With that as my parting words, I rushed out of William's house. I felt him following me, but I quickly hailed a taxi and went home alone. Please, it's over. Let it go. Weeks later, I was standing at my front door, facing William's parents. I'm not coming back. I'm no longer your son. You hurt the person who means everything to me and only push your values on me. I want to be happy with Scarlett. William said this with anger next to me. No, don't be so cold. Family ties can't be broken. Let's keep our relationship going, right, Scarlett? Sorry, I'm really sorry. Think it over again. They pleaded, changing their attitude completely. But neither William or I were willing to change our minds. Enough. Please leave. After William and I left his parents' house, he came over to my place later and apologized on his knees right here at the doorstep. His face pale, he repeatedly said sorry. He said he had no right to ask for marriage now, but he would leave his home and start from scratch. Once he could stand on his own, he would like me to reconsider. His determination was clear from the small suitcase beside him. Leaving behind his car, assets, and anything else that might have involved his parents' help, he had left his home. I told him, "Thank you, I want to be with you." But that was only because it was him. My disdain for his parents only grew. "Please go back." As I said that day, "I never want to see you again." I was frankly fed up. "Don't say that, let's talk again. Don't be mean, please." Their attitude had changed drastically since the week after our visit. I had withdrawn the loan proposal from William's father's bank and moved all my savings to another bank. Unbeknownst to many, my family, although with a common surname, is a well-known large owner in the area. We also run an agricultural corporation. We produce enough to get by without buying vegetables from the store all year round. The recent move to include dairy farming meant we had sought a $3 million loan from the bank, which I cancelled, along with changing our main bank. That's what had panicked them. Of course, I made sure to inform the bank about the reason for this sudden switch, mentioning William's father. That's why his parents began visiting daily, practically begging, "Please, we're really in trouble." I was utterly weary of William's mother, who was practically wringing her hands together. "Didn't you say that day, single-parent families can't be trusted, they might ask for money? Isn't that family of no use to you?" I rejected them coldly, and they seemed offended. "Isn't that going too far?" William's father confronted me. "But the bank is all about trust, right?" "I also think so. And I can't trust you too, not one bit, after you insulted my mother and looked down on our profession." "You what?" "That's..." They were shocked and paled, but I was unyielding. "It's a nuisance to have you interrupting my work. If you keep coming without an appointment and staying, I'll have to report it to the police." They fell to their knees, almost crying. "What can we do to make you forgive us? We'll lose everything. We don't want to be poor." They hung their heads, but in the end, it was just trying to protect themselves, caring only about themselves. "I'm sorry, but trust once lost doesn't come back overnight, and I'm not concerned with your disdain for poverty." Those roll cakes I made, I was involved in every step from sourcing the ingredients to the final sale. They may seem common to you, but they weren't made to be dried out and thrown away without even having a taste. My heart isn't big enough to want to continue relations with someone who can discard something I've put so much effort into right in front of me. Gah. Their shoulders slumped in defeat as they stood before me, and I was aware I was being harsh, but William firmly supported my shoulder. "I'm truly disappointed to know my own parents are such people. When I first ate that roll cake, I wondered who could make such a comforting treat. It was the cake that led to my relationship with Scarlett. To think you treated it like that. If you still care about my happiness, please, stay out of our lives. William, please leave." Rejected even by their son, his parents sadly left. Later, I heard that William's father was dismissed from his job. In a business where trust is paramount, bad reputation spread fast, and he struggled to find new employment. He's now selling his car and household items to get by. His mother, unable to bear such a life, left him too. As for me, with the new loan I secured, I'm close to achieving my dream of sourcing all the ingredients for my proud roll cakes from my own company's livestock production. Yay, delicious. Tasting a sample, my husband William, now working side by side with me every day, smiled with pure happiness. Together, we'll keep striving for success.